Well, I thank you and appreciate the opportunity to participate in our discussion this evening. I'll tell you a little bit about what we do at Arkansas Tech and my role within that department, and then I'll tell you a little bit about some of the research work that I do as well. Um, our Fisheries and Wildlife program at Arkansas Tech is within the biology department, and we right now have around 100 to 120 undergraduate students. That kind of varies. I think right now we're right around 100. It can go up and down from year to year. We also have a master's program in fisheries and wildlife, and we typically have around 12 to 15 students that are working on their master's theses. Our role at Arkansas Tech is primarily that of education, and we use the research that our faculty do participate to contribute to the education of our undergraduate and graduate students. We have a really good track record of providing quality young professionals to agencies like the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission for employment, as well as federal jobs and also private consulting firms. The work that I have been involved in for several years, both in Mississippi as a graduate student and here in Arkansas, primarily involves using floodplain river ecosystems as a training tool for my students and trying to learn some of the ecological relationships between river hydrology, environmental characteristics of floodplains, and the fish communities that you see in those floodplains. In Arkansas, we're really blessed with a high diversity, a high species richness within this type of habitat, and so it's really a great outdoor laboratory in terms of trying to understand why we're seeing community structured in a particular body of water, a floodplain lake, the main stem of a river. And if, we have projects that as a civilization, as a society that changes some of those environmental characteristics, the work that I try to do is provide some insight in what changes you might see in those communities if certain projects take place. If we change the flooding regime, if we isolate floodplains from a particular body isolate the river from flooding into a particular oxbow lake, what kind of expectations would we have with the species that would thrive in a different type of an environment? So that's kind of what I do, although that's kind of the background theme of most of the work that I participate in. However, if I try to take a student's interest and will work with that interest and try to develop projects or experiences for those students in areas that interest them, not just floodplain rivers. An example is right now I'm working with Arkansas Game and Fish Commission and colleagues down in Pine Bluff, and we're trying to evaluate fish stocking that Arkansas Game and Fish Commission does, trying to determine the best conditions for success. What's the contribution of these fish we're putting into the bodies of water, and under what environmental conditions do we want to put fish in what numbers to better utilize those resources and appropriately distribute those fish as we need to, because we want those fish that are raised in the hatcheries to be successful within the environments out there. So those are some questions that we have graduate students working on right now. Again, I would say our role at Russellville, the university's mission is primarily teaching. Our students utilize the research experiences that I can provide them, as well as internship programs with state and federal agencies that put them in positions to become competitive for jobs or competitive to graduate school. We typically have 3 or 4 students each year go on to graduate schools at institutions across the country, as well as within the state of Arkansas. And then we have a large number of them being very successful, going right into the field with their bachelor's degree. If they've put themselves in a position and done well academically and gotten those experiences that are offered through the summer and are willing to go where those jobs are offered, our students do very well. And you can see that within Arkansas and across the neighboring states when you look at where our graduates go. So I guess that's kind of where I'll end.
Okay, thank you very much.